Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, it's with a deep sense of sadness and anger that we rise here to express the sentiment of the entire country. Now, this is one issue on which the whole country must speak in one language. And therefore, irrespective of who starts, I only hope that this debate and this clarification from the Honourable Minister doesn't result in any kind of divided opinion as far as this House is concerned. Sir, today morning's incident where 5 of our soldiers have been killed and 1 has been seriously injured is indeed condemnable. We join the Honourable Defence Minister in conveying our deep condolences to the members of the family. We salute the memory of those who have laid down their lives for the country. I just wish to point out, I only hope this is a typographical error because it was done in a hurry. In paragraph 2, the Honourable Minister has said that the instances of infiltration have doubled this year, while comparing it with the last year. My submission to you is that these incidents are not taking place in this region in isolation. Earlier this year, you had soldiers being beheaded. You then had the incident of Sarabjit. 2 days ago, you had a bomb blast outside the Indian consulate in Jalalabad. You have had a series of incidents of cross-border terrorism, and you have rightly mentioned that these incidents have disturbingly increased. Not only this, you are now finding incidents of incursions on the line of actual control as far as the China border is concerned also are on the increase. The assertiveness of the Chinese as far as Indian border issues are concerned has suddenly increased in the last few months. There have been incidents where they have been entering our line of actual control, our side, pitching their camps, preventing our soldiers from occupying those areas and patrolling in these areas. And all this is happening when there is a disturbing, when there is an important course of history ahead in 2014, where you will have the withdrawal of the NATO forces as far as Afghanistan is concerned. And therefore, what happens to the uncertainty in this region and the preparedness of this region to fight both terrorism as also intentions of our neighbor is a matter of grave concern as far as the whole country is concerned. So the statement mentions that the ambush has been carried out by 20 heavily armed terrorists along with persons dressed in Pakistan army uniforms. Now, I think that's what I was pointing out at the beginning, that I only hope that this is not some kind of a drafting or a typographical error, because the conventional defense that Pakistan puts is, these are not state actors of Pakistan. This is not Pakistani army. These are non-state actors as far as Pakistan is concerned. Now, our experience has been that the line of distinction between state actors and non-state actors in Pakistan, when it comes to attacks on India, both terrorist attacks and armed forces attacks, that line of distinction has been obliterated. And when you use an ambiguous phrase like persons dressed in Pakistan army uniform, it obviously in the very first instance provides an escape route to Pakistan, because Pakistan, our own experience has been in the last 2 decades, has been a state in denial. They've been in denial of the fact that their territory has been used for cross-border terrorism. They've been in denial over the fact that their troops entered Kargil in 1999. They've been in denial over 26/11. They've been in denial as far as the beheading of the Indian soldiers is concerned. They've been in denial about supporting various modules, which may be even domestic modules in India, by supply of arms, by training, by other forms of assistance. And by saying that this was a terrorist attack, and the terrorists came along with persons who were dressed in Pakistani army uniforms, you are almost providing in this sentence an opportunity to Pakistan to create a possible defense that these were not state actors as far as Pakistan was concerned, and therefore it could have been some other non-state actors. So if we remember, Pakistan is not entitled to any such benefit of doubt. Our Prime Minister was magnanimous enough, and I think erroneously so, when several years ago at Harare, while coming back from the Commonwealth Heads of State meet, or a non-aligned meet, he mentioned that Pakistan also is a victim of terrorism. Later, I think, at Sharm el-Sheikh, we tried to revisit India's foreign policy. And that revisiting of India's foreign policy was that instead of linking any possible dialogue and a peace process, along with the fact that Pakistani territory is not used for attacks against India, we almost somersaulted and took a stand that irrespective of the fact whether terrorism stops or it doesn't stop, the dialogue will go on. So the matter of concern is, and that's why I mentioned in the morning, it's obviously a security concern. It's obviously a concern of border management. It's a concern of India's sovereignty, particularly when attacks are coming not only from the Pakistan side of the border, but you have an increased assertion coming from the Chinese side of the line of actual control. This is also a very serious foreign policy issue today. Is it a deliberate attempt that the civilian government will speak one language, and on the ground you will have other agencies of Pakistan by their acts indicating a different line of approach? It is almost akin to a situation which they tried to present to the world when events in 1999 took place. Is this difference genuine, or is it a part of a conscious strategy that civilian government will place one face before the rest of the world, will present one logic before the rest of the world, and as far as the armed forces, the ISI and other agencies are concerned, their strategy will be completely different? I raise this because these kind of strategies, as far as Pakistan is concerned, is not unknown. I have given the whole detail of how it's a state living in denial, and therefore a possible denial of against your protest will be now forthcoming. We therefore must not live in some fictional situation and must be conscious of the fact of the ground that we are living in. And we are living in a situation where they have some intentions. Some people felt very enthusiastic when their new Prime Minister, and we hope that he would be able to walk the talk that he undertook during the election campaign, that he wanted a genuine peace with India. But is the Pakistani civilian government in full control of Pakistan? Or is the strategy in these issues decided by somebody else other than the civilian government? Who is in control of Pakistan? This is an unanswered question. And therefore the government of India should never lower its guard as far as border management is concerned, as far as the issues of these attacks from Pakistan is concerned. And therefore we must remember, I do understand that next month again the government is planning a dialogue on this issue. We must therefore be conscious of the fact that the principal issue is the sovereignty of India. It is the interest of India's security. It is freedom from terrorism that we require. And therefore, for those who say that the dialogue with Pakistan must be uninterrupted and uninterruptible, I just want to suggest to them, is the interest of India's sovereignty. It is our interest against terrorism which must be uninterruptible.
Very good.
The dialogue process must depend on what Pakistan's attitude is. And if our soldiers are being beheaded, if our soldiers are being killed, if attacks in India are consciously being planned and carried out, we can't make a spectacle of ourselves before the rest of the world that we are the willing recipients of such attacks. Therefore, we'll have to modulate our foreign policy to give a clear message to Pakistan. And that clear message to Pakistan is that these kind of attacks will not be tolerated towards India. Pakistan has lost conventional wars against India. They have lost the war of cross-border terrorism which they have tried repeatedly against India. And India must not sit in a laid-back manner and take these attacks lying down. I think time has come for us to give a befitting reply. I leave it to the wise sense of judgment of the government as to what they think would be the appropriate response to such a situation. And we expect through this discussion in the House, the government to elaborate this on what its foreign policy strategy also on this issue is going to be.
Now, thank you.